So here we are. We are live now on Podbean correctly. Good morning, everyone. And we are live on Facebook. So hopefully somebody will come in and join me and have a little coffee with me. So for those of you that are not familiar with Coffee Talk with Karen, this began during COVID. And we were all kind of sitting here going, what's going on? So I was on Miami Mike Radio at the time, and I said to Miami Mike, I would love to go live and do a new show. And he said, go for it. So you can never tell Karen to go for it because she always does, right? So I'm like, okay. So, we started off and it's kind of like this where, I don't know, there was one person maybe watching and whoever's here hasn't really checked in or whatever, which is all good. Doesn't matter to me. And so we just kind of started a little network, if you will, and people tuned in. We did it Monday through Friday, and I think it was 11 a.m., and we literally just sat here and talked about, like, what the hell is going on? Like, this is just craziness, right? We were in lockdowns. We didn't know what the hell was going on. People were dying. It was crazy. And so Coffee Talk became part of our everyday community, if you will, because during COVID, we were a captive audience, right? Because nobody was allowed to go out. And we were, like I said, sitting there scratching our heads trying to figure out what was going on. So we would all jump on and discuss things together. Well, I would discuss things and people would, comment about what their feelings were. So I see someone joined on Podbean. Good morning. We are live on Podbean and on Facebook, and we are just, I'm reintroducing Coffee Talk back into my repertoire. I started doing a new show as well. It's called Straight Talk with Karen and Brenda. We do that on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m., usually once or twice a week. We are here to try to empower others. I always try with my shows to give people a different view, a different way of looking at things. So it's perspective. And I haven't done Coffee Talk in a minute because everybody went back to work. So nobody was jumping on with me. Like on Facebook right now, there's no one joining me, but thank you. I have a couple of people that have joined the room this morning on Podbean. So welcome. Please make sure you like and share. This is Coffee Talk with Karen. We are Real Talk with KarenStacy.podbean.com. I have two different channels, so I'm trying to get my tongue correct there. Although my tongue is never correct because I always say things I'm not supposed to. Speaking of which, I wanted to bring something up while I'm drinking coffee. And if anybody is here, have some coffee with me. I want to talk a little bit about etiquette. Now, I know I say things I'm not supposed to and so forth, but I was brought up to have etiquette. And apparently that has changed over time, I think. So here's if somebody's listening and wants to chime in, I had to ask my son this question. My son is 16. And I had someone that was responding, or actually it was a work correspondence, and it was via text. And some people text you for work-related things at like 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night. And then I got a text message about something at 5:15 a.m. Now, I don't know how anybody else grew up, but like there was a rule in my house, like, and my parents weren't strict, don't get me wrong, but like, I don't know, when it hits about 10 o'clock, right? That used to be the time, right? 10 o'clock, you don't call the house anymore. And I can remember a situation where we were all sitting down. My parents were late people, right? And we were sitting down at the table and my house phone rings. I think this might have been before I got my phone in my room, right? Because I was a big shot. I had my own phone in my own room and I paid the bill for it. And the phone rang and it was one ring. And that was my like code with my friends. Like, if you want to talk, ring. And again, this was like, God, decades ago. So I don't remember the exact code at the moment. But it was, like the one ring. So we were all sitting at the table and I don't know what time it is. It's after 10 and the phone rings and it's one ring. And I'm just like, oh, that's so odd. The phone only rang once. And my father goes, now my father's a very sarcastic human. My father goes, one if by land, two if by sea. And I was like, damn it. Like, so meaning he knew what was going on. Like he knew that was like some kind of code or whatever. And I was busted. But nonetheless, you follow the rules, you follow proper etiquette, right? So after 10 o'clock at night, you don't, call people unless you have a certain relationship with these people or whatever the case may be, right? Like, is anybody listening in and wants to chime in on this? Am I the only person that thinks that etiquette is important or being mindful of other people's schedules? Like, to send a work text at 5:15 a.m. to me, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like reaching out to somebody it's inappropriate. Am I right or am I wrong? I find what the hell? Sounds like the earth is coming to an end outside of my house right now. I feel that it is inappropriate. I don't believe that you have to have a certain place in my world if you are texting me at 5 o'clock in the morning. So is anybody else with me on this? I see a couple of people are jumping on. I'm very curious. This is my coffee talk for the morning, is texting etiquette. So my son said to me that it doesn't matter. People text whenever. And I said, I understand that if you're friends with somebody, but how does somebody, especially work-wise, how do they know that I do have my phone on Do Not Disturb when I go to sleep at night? And then there are important people that are on bypass so that if, they need to get in touch with me, they can. But how do you know what my life looks like? How do you know that I put it on silent? You don't know. Maybe I don't put it on silent. Maybe my phone is on and you're disturbing me at 5 o'clock in the morning with a work text. You don't know what my schedule is, right? So like if you're going to reach out to somebody at 5 o'clock in the morning, isn't that what, email is probably a better route, right? So if it's somebody that I don't know, I might reach out to them on, let's say, Messenger. Maybe I might be less inclined not to reach out at that time because Messenger, usually if you're asleep, your phone doesn't go off, and or emails, right? Because then you can email somebody at that time and you know that that's not going to impact them. Maybe. But what happened to that? Is that because now everybody is available 24/7 that we can just reach out to people at any random time and not be mindful of their schedule or what time it is? Don't get me wrong. I have certainly not known what time it is sometimes, and I've text somebody and then I'm like, oh crap. And I look and it's like 11 o'clock at night and I'm like, ooh, sorry, I didn't even realize what time it was. I apologize. But, that's somebody that I probably have been corresponding with. It's not just a random person. So I'm just curious, and maybe if you're catching this on the replay, you can type something into the comment for me and let me know if we have. Do you guys hear that? What in the wild, wild world of sports is going on? I don't know if there is, if etiquette has gone out the window. I know I'm teaching my kid correct, but like there's also something now that you can schedule text messages, which I just learned last night actually. And if you don't know this, I'm going to learn you. You can actually schedule a text message for whatever time it is that you want it to be delivered, and it will deliver it at that time. I have a friend whose birthday it is today, and they wake up for work at 4:30 in the morning. I scheduled a text. I never did it before. I had to Google it, and I figured it out. Woohoo! And I sent a text at 4:30 in the morning so that when they woke up, they would, have the birthday text there. So for those of you that need to do something at the moment because you're going to forget, which I'm definitely that person as well. I understand that part. I want you to try to do that, right? And think about, well, maybe you don't want to do it. Maybe you don't give a crap and you just text people whenever you want to, and that's okay too. But not me. Don't text me whenever you want to. No, I can. But, I think that it's a good thing to implement. And again, if you're a special person in somebody's life, then you can text them whenever the hell you want to, right? But if you don't have that relationship and it's work related, I do believe that you got to go old school and you got to go back to foundations of any time between 10 p.m. and let's say 9 a.m., don't text or call somebody unless you set up an appointment or something like that, right? I don't know if anybody, but that's what I think. That's what I feel. That is something that was bothering me. I've been thinking about, because when I got this text at 5:15, I took it personally, and I know I shouldn't, and I'm doing all this work on myself not to take things personally, but like, I said to my son, who does that? And so he's like, Ma, everybody does that now. And I'm like, yeah, no. I said, do you do that? He's like, no. I said, okay, good. Because if you did that, I would take the phone away from you, because that's not what we do. We do not text people at 5 o'clock in the morning unless you are on a relationship with somebody at 5 o'clock in the morning. But a business text or a text that is not somebody that's like your core people, am I wrong? 5:15 in the morning is not the appropriate time, right? I'm going with that. And whoever agrees or disagrees, you can always type it into the comments and let me know your thoughts, because again, maybe I am just too old school. I'm too old school for school. I'm too cool for school, but and so maybe that's it. Maybe I am just still living in a time when respect was something that was prevalent, as opposed to now where lack of respect, common decency, humanity, I can go on and on with the adjectives, is lacking, right? I don't know if anybody else agrees with me or not, but that is what my coffee talk of the day is about. I think just proper etiquette. And I know, so next week we have coffee talk with Karen and Emery. I have two new co-hosts coming in. And Emery and I were talking about it. She was supposed to jump on here today, but I think she didn't realize what time it was. I just jumped on here randomly. I think the show that we're going to do next time is going to be 11:30, because I don't know, sometimes it's better with people with lunch or whatever. So we're going to jump on at 11:30. And we were talking a little bit about a certain type of etiquette, but not this etiquette. So I was hoping that she was going to jump on with that. So next Friday is March 14th, and we are doing a coffee talk with Karen and Emery. And then 2 weeks after that, which is March 28th, we're doing coffee talk with Karen and Ann. Now that should be fun because I love having a male co-host, because women certainly see things from a different lens than men. And I love men, so I just like it. But anyway, we are going to be discussing, I think with me and Aunt, we're going to be discussing like dating. And I think the first show we're going to do, and don't quote me on it, but I think we're doing something along the lines of, like going out on a date and what to expect, and having the female and the male perspective, which should be really good. And then next week with Emery, I think we're actually doing the topic, my phone was on silent, which kind of piggybacks off of or onto, or whatever you want to call it, what we're talking about today. So, phone proper etiquette, and we're going to talk about, listen, it's coffee talk. It's like chill. It's just chit chat to wake you up, and, nice and easy. Maybe you're at work. Maybe somebody's driving you crazy. Maybe you're a stay-at-home parent and your children are bouncing off the walls, and you just need a little entertainment and a little breather from reality. But of course, I'm not really the biggest breath of fresh air, but that's okay. But yes, so make sure, so in order to listen to the shows live, pay attention. There is a link here. And it is, so for this show, you go to Real Talk with Karen Stacey.podbean.com. All you do is hit that follow button. You do have to create an account, but it is free. And then you can listen whenever you want. My other show is Straight Talk with Karen and Brenda.podbean.com. So if you download the Podbean app, you get to follow both shows, and they will alert you when we're live, and so forth. And if you are like, screw this, I don't want to download one more thing onto my phone, then you can listen to the replay on any of your favorite podcast platforms, because all of my shows are out there in the universe. I don't know whether that's good or bad, but it is what it is. So that's how you can listen. So anybody that tuned in today, I do appreciate you listening. And don't forget, we're going to be next week, we're going to do March 14th with Emery. And we're doing coffee talk with Karen and Emery. And then I'll probably jump on the following week solo and just, shoot with you guys. And then on the 28th, so we're doing this on Fridays, FYI. And on the 28th, we're going to do coffee talk with Karen and Aunt. And we're going to have a male perspective, a male and a female perspective. Scary stuff, right? So download that app and be ready for me. Whoops.